Too many people associate retirement with the end.
I figure it'll be a little bit of a transition to try to slow down a little bit.
The number one question I have about retirement is having enough money to last.
In my mind, you start to look at it, that's an opportunity to do more of the things you want when you want to do it.
Make it financially able to do things that I enjoy.
Party.
Just financial security and enjoy my family.
More people need to go into it with their eyes wide open, understanding what is my plan, what do I want to do, and then how am I going to get there?
Will the rules change?
I have no real specific plan.
I'm planning for what the status is right now. I just hope it doesn't change drastically.
Welcome to the RetireTastic Show with JoAnn Regan, powered by the Retirement Income Store and brought to you by Financial Security Group of Arizona. In retirement, it's all about income. And today, you'll hear ideas, concepts, and strategies designed specifically to generate reliable retirement income. Now, here's the host of the RetireTastic Show, JoAnn Regan.
Today we're going to talk about a few things pertaining to Social Security. First of all, will it be there for you? How much can you expect to receive? When should you apply for Social Security? How to maximize your benefits? And will it be enough for you to live on? So those are the things that we're going to be talking about today. And let me repeat them for you one more time. Will it be there for you? How much can you expect to receive? When should you apply for Social Security? How to maximize your benefits, and will Social Security be enough for you to live on? Welcome to the RetireTastic Show, and I'm your host, JoAnn Regan, where my goal is to help you have a fantastic retirement. And thanks for joining me. So Social Security is kind of an interesting thing, and I have taught Social Security workshops for well over 20 years. And back then, there were a lot more strategies than there are right now. Some of you may remember one strategy. It was called file and suspend, and you may have even filed for it. So those people are kind of reaching the end of their time frame for that. So file and suspend was a strategy where one party would file for Social Security but not take it. And the other party would then claim a spousal benefit. And then party one, who did not take their Social Security, would have their benefits increased. But unfortunately, that strategy no longer exists. During the last several years, they've been talking about limiting spousal benefits. And they snuck that in on us. And I don't know if you know it or not, but if you were born in 1955 or earlier, you basically can't get spousal benefits. You have to be born before 1954. Point is, the government is weaning out spousal benefits, and in the next 5 to 7 years, you won't be able to get it at all. All of this is an effort on the government's part to save Social Security, which basically brings us to a point, will it be there for you? I can tell you that the line of funds going into Social Security and the line of funds going out of Social Security crossed in about 2010, as in more goes out than comes in, and it's getting worse ever since then. We could get into a long political argument, which I really don't want to do, but did the government dip in where they shouldn't have dipped in? I will say that it does irritate me when I hear the government talk about this as being a fringe benefit. It is not a fringe benefit. It is something we all paid into, and it's definitely not a fringe benefit. So I have this software. It can run Social Security analysis, and when I first got that software several years ago, I was able to show you which strategy would work best for you. And it could mean $100,000 or $200,000 difference in what we call the primary strategy and the strategy that you actually want to do. And unfortunately, it doesn't do that anymore. But what it does show is if you're waiting until age 70, it probably isn't going to benefit you like it used to start your Social Security by waiting. My, how times have changed. Software hasn't changed, it's the benefits that have decreased, all in an effort to make Social Security last. I believe that Social Security will last, and the math shows that it will. But could they potentially start means testing Social Security down the road? I don't know, and I hope they don't, but it is possible. Means testing means that they could base your Social Security on your income to potentially pay you less or more Social Security. Again, they're not doing it right now. It is what it is, and I don't think Social Security is going to go anywhere anytime soon. And I think financially, all of you that are baby boomers are probably in pretty good shape. The next thing I want to talk about is how much can you expect to receive? Well, that depends on how much you've earned over your working life and how much you've actually paid into Social Security and the age in which you apply for benefits. So now, pertaining to the age in which you apply for benefits, you may or may not know this, but Social Security increases from what you start putting money into all the way to age 62. And it really doesn't increase as much after 62 until age 66 or at full retirement age, or 70 like it did when you were putting in from age 52 to 62. However, it does increase if you continue to work. Remember, Social Security has to be ready to pay out your benefits at age 62 because that's when you can claim it early. So if you decide to take your Social Security between age 62 to 66 or before full retirement age, you're basically going to be penalized. And by penalized, that means you're going to be in a scenario where you're going to be getting less than you would have if you would have taken it at full retirement age. So if you're age 62 when you start taking your Social Security, you're going to be penalized 30%. You're going to get 30% less payment than you would if you took your Social Security at full retirement age. If you wait to take your Social Security at age 63, you're going to get penalized 25% of your full payment. And you can go on the Social Security website and pull down the amount that you're going to get at full retirement so that you can make a good calculation based upon you. Now remember that penalty only applies if you decide to work and start taking your Social Security. So on a very important note, if you decide to take it early, it might not be a bad thing with all the changes in Social Security and all the significant strategies that are kind of going away. So if you're 62 or 63 and you know you're not going to go back to work, I would almost say taking Social Security early might work out. And if you take that money and you invest it and get a good 4 to 5% yield on it, I think you would be better off than waiting till full retirement in most cases. If you're curious about what strategy might work best for you, touch base with me anytime at 1-800-FSG-7890. Again, that's 1-800-374-7890, and I can run an analysis for you free of charge. And I'll email it to you or mail it out to you, and it can kind of give you an idea of what benefits you might be looking at in the way of Social Security when you decide to start. So something that's kind of a common denominator for every single retiree today is the topic of Social Security. And that's what we're talking about today here on the RetireTastic Show. And I'm your host, JoAnn Regan. So before I was mentioning to you, I would talk about taxation of Social Security and what if you plan on taking it early and still work. So let me cover that part, and I can cover it really easy. If you're under full retirement age, which is 66 to 67, right around there, and you want to collect Social Security and still plan on working, does it make sense for you? Again, as I said, I can run an analysis for your situation to see if it does make sense. However, does it make sense? Let's just assume that it does, that you take that money, you don't need it, and you reinvest it. And I think it could possibly make sense for you because in most cases, if you take that money and reinvest it and get a solid 4 or 5% yield on it, you can actually make more money than waiting. My point is, if you do that and you want to continue to work, you can only make up to $18,960 a year before you start getting penalized by Social Security. What happens if you take more? For every $2 you earn over $18,960, and remember, I'm talking about if you take your Social Security and you're between ages 62 and full retirement age, then you're going to give up $1 in Social Security benefits. Now let's segue into taxation on Social Security. Does Social Security get taxed? You wouldn't be listening to my show if you knew the answer to that, would you? Social Security may or may not get taxed. It depends. That rings true. It was started by George H.W. Bush, and it's called a thing called provisional income. The higher your provisional income goes, the more Social Security will be taxed. The less it is, the less that will be taxed. So what is provisional income? Provisional income is the amount of your adjusted gross income plus 1/2 of your Social Security benefits. The higher that number goes, the more Social Security will be taxed. Bottom line is, if you plan on retiring earlier than your full retirement age, and you plan on taking Social Security, you need to watch your maximum income. As we said, it's $18,960. This is actually true at any point on Social Security. It doesn't matter if it's 62, 66, or 70. Let me be very careful here. If you earn over a certain amount, and this is W-2 or 1099 income, more Social Security will be taxed all the way up to 85% of your Social Security. Now, rental properties and investment income, those don't count towards your taxable provisional income. So if you get a $20,000 Social Security check, you could be looking at as much of $17,000 of that check being taxed, and that max goes all the way up to 85%. So if you're wondering what you should do, well, again, I can run an analysis for you. I can't help you if you don't reach out to me. My phone number is 1-800-FSG-7890. Again, that's 1-800-FSG-7890, and I can get that analysis out to you. There's a small amount of information I will need for you, but it's pretty simple, so give me a call. We'll be right back.
The RetireTastic Show with JoAnn Regan airs Saturday afternoons at 1 and Sunday mornings at 8:30. You're listening to the RetireTastic Show with JoAnn Regan, powered by the Retirement Income Store. If you're preparing to retire in the next 10 years, this message is for you. One of the biggest sources of income may be how you claim your Social Security. That's right, how you claim your benefits. Do you know your full retirement age? Do you know how much your benefits may be taxed? Do you understand how to claim on an ex-spouse, or that you even could? For your free, no-obligation Social Security Information Kit, call 800-FSG-7890. That's 800-FSG-7890. Sure, you could spend hours and hours searching around online, only to find some generic calculators that may not factor in inflation, tax implications, your marital status, and hundreds of other variables. If you call or stop into the Social Security office, they, by law, cannot advise you on which claiming strategy is best for you. For your free, no-obligation Social Security Information Kit, call 800-FSG-7890. That's 800-FSG-7890. Or visit us online at yourfsg.com. Remember the good old days when you could earn 5% on a bank CD? What if you could earn similar rates on interest and dividends to those CD rates? It's possible. And the income specialists at the Retirement Income Store can help you. We're a network of experienced financial advisors operating independently owned firms under the umbrella of the Retirement Income Store. This makes it simple and easy for you to find a retirement income specialist in your local area. Our advisors have helped hardworking Americans across the country invest and save for their retirement.
To learn more about the Retirement Income Store, call your local Retirement Income Specialist, JoAnn Regan of the Financial Security Group at 800-FSG-7890. That's 800-FSG-7890.
The Retirement Income Store, where retirees go for income. Have you missed any of today's program? No problem. You can hear all of the RetireTastic Show online anytime, 24/7 at yourfsg.com. That's YOURFSG.com. Welcome back to the RetireTastic Show with JoAnn Regan, powered by the Retirement Income Store and brought to you by Financial Security Group of Arizona.
So today we're talking about Social Security and when should you take it. And the things we've talked about so far were, will Social Security be there for you? Probably will. How much do you expect to receive? We've talked about that. And when to apply for Social Security benefits. So those are the things we've been talking about today on the RetireTastic Show. And I'm your host, JoAnn Regan. And my goal is to help you have a fantastic retirement. So when should you apply for Social Security benefits? It really depends on a lot of things. It depends on whether or not you continue to work. It depends on if you're able to get spousal benefits. It really depends on a lot of factors. I will tell you, this is something that you want to remember. As a general rule of thumb, there is a break-even point. So let's say you want to take it at age 62, but I'm going to wait until retirement age 66. The break-even point is 78 in most cases. Or let's say you're 66 and going to wait until you're 70. The break-even point is 87 in most cases. Now, if you're a 25-year-old and you want to go to your 25-year-old buddy and talk about Social Security, he's probably going to turn and walk the other way. Most people that are 25 and 30 don't think that they're going to get it. And I'm telling you, I've talked to them. But if you're 62 or 64, it's a hot topic. When should you take it? How should I take it? Is it even going to be there for me? We've covered that, and I really do think it's going to be there. However, How you take it makes a difference, and so does maximizing those benefits. As I said earlier, some of the best strategies have sort of been eliminated. The old file and suspend went away a long time ago. Now we're dealing with spousal benefits. In some scenarios, if you're born in the right year, you can get spousal benefits, and it makes sense. Spousal benefits are really a big deal. They haven't been fully eliminated yet, but they have been eliminated for certain people. For those born after 1954, there's a solid chance that you won't be able to get them. Before 1954, there's a solid chance you will, and it's probably a good idea. Now let's spend a minute talking about decedent benefits or survivor benefits. If you are in full retirement, I want you to listen to me. If you're in full retirement, age 66 or above, and your spouse passes away, you're going to be able to get what is called survivor benefits. You can't get survivor benefits and your own benefits at the same time, but you can take survivor benefits and your own benefit increases. Let me clarify something for you here. I keep talking about those increases. Social Security from age 62 to full retirement age gets bigger, but you get penalized less. From full retirement age to 70, it grows at about 8% per year. These survivor benefits are very important. I have run across many people that weren't told by Social Security that they could get survivor benefits. Basically, if you were married for more than 9 months and your spouse passes away and you haven't remarried, then you can collect survivor benefits. If you have remarried, then you cannot collect survivor benefits on your deceased spouse because you're on to a new spouse now. So all of these things come into play: survivor benefits, spousal benefits, when should you take it, the age in which you should take it. It's a lot to think about. There are truly over 500 different ways that you can claim Social Security, but there's really only one plan that'll work right for you. The final thing that I want to talk to you about today is, will Social Security be enough for you to live on? I can tell you it probably won't be, and it never was really meant to be. We can't blame Social Security or the government for this. It was always meant to just be a supplement. It was not meant to be your primary income benefit. And I'm going to tell you, in most cases that I find, at least with people that call me, Social Security does end up being about 50% of their retirement income. So how do you figure out how much you need in retirement? It's really not rocket science. You just have to figure out how much income you're going to need. And usually that's about 75% of what you're making now, but sometimes it's actually more. So let's say you make $100,000 a year. That means you probably are going to need at least $75,000 a year in income to survive. And if you're going to get Social Security, and we're just going to say for this example, you get $40,000 a year between you and your spouse. So if you take that $40,000 off of the $75,000, that gets you down to $35,000 worth of income that you're going to have to find from some other source. Now, this is where you figure out, is it going to come from pensions or rentals or investment income, or where's it going to come from? Or do you plan on working? Assuming the answer is no and you actually want to retire and you don't want to keep working, then you're going to take that $35,000 and I say divide it by 4%, and that will come out with a number. What we just talked about here, it will come out to be about $875,000, and that's how much you're going to need to retire on. That's how simple this is. In one of my previous shows, we talked a little bit about inflation and how you're going to need a certain amount of money to go up. The money that you have saved up for retirement, it needs to increase. That's one of the reasons why you just can't retire on $875,000. It's also one of the major reasons why you don't want to see a 40 or 50% correction in the market and cause your $875,000 to go down. It's one of the reasons, as I said early in the show, that many people call us. They have saved the money. Their primary goal is now to keep it and get a decent yield off of it. And that is really our primary focus, to show people how to preserve that wealth and how to get a decent amount of income off of it and be in a position that if in this market, or should I say that when the market does decline, you're not going to be one of those people that see their portfolio decrease 30, 40, or 50% and potentially stay down for 5 or 6 years. I just think it's really important to point out here that most people, when they take their Social Security, it's truly not enough for them to live on. And so they have to rely on other investments, and they have to rely on other sources of income. And if you're not one of those that's lucky enough to have a pension, then the money that you have saved for retirement has to be in something that is producing an income so that you can supplement what you are making with those dividends and interest in order to be able to have a good retirement and not have to live on beans and rice the whole time. So we've covered a lot of things here today, like when should you take Social Security, how much should you get, if it's going to still be there, a lot of different things about Social Security that really pertains to every single retiree I know. And one of the things that I just want to point out to you is that we can run an analysis for you to help you decide what you're doing, if you're doing and taking your Social Security at the right time, if your investments are doing what they need to do to be able to supplement your retirement, if you're going to get taxed an enormous amount on your Social Security. All of those things are things that I can help you with. And if that sounds like something you'd be interested in having me to speak to you about, why don't you give me a call at 1-800-FSG-7890. Again, that's 1-800-FSG-7890. I want to just let you know that my goal is to help you have that fantastic retirement. And helping you do that is going to be requiring you to sit down and analyze your situation and determine if you're in the best place possible to maximize your retirement. Well, that's all I have for today. I really hope you can reach out for that no obligation analysis. It's no problem. I'd love to take care of it for you. Oh, and if you like the program, can you please refer a friend to me? It would be greatly appreciated. I really love educating everyone. So until next week, I look forward to speaking with you. Again, thanks for listening. This is JoAnn Regan signing off till next week.
Have you missed any of today's program? No problem. You can hear all of the RetireTastic show online anytime, 24/7 at yourfsg.com. That's YOURFSG.com.
Would you like to know how you can tell if an advisor specializes in individual income-producing instruments versus an advisor who uses a combination of stock market and growth-oriented vehicles? Because if they specialize in the latter, they're more likely to invest your retirement accounts into bond mutual funds rather than individual bonds and bond-like instruments. Why is this important? Because when an investor buys an individual bond, they're guaranteed a fixed rate of interest for the life of the bond. And when the bond matures, they're guaranteed their principal back, assuming there has been no defaults. With that assumption, an investor knows exactly what they're going to earn on the bond that they hold to maturity. Bond mutual funds don't pay a fixed rate of interest. As a matter of fact, the interest that they pay fluctuates. Also, bond mutual funds don't have a maturity date. They will go on forever or until you liquidate them. So bond mutual funds can be a lot riskier than individual bonds. Most people in or near retirement who have saved their hard-earned money over a longer period of time are better suited to invest in a portfolio of individual fixed income securities for the purposes of safety and steady income. If you would like to learn more about whether individual fixed income securities are right for you, give us a call.
To speak with JoAnn off the air, call 800-FSG-7890. That's 800-FSG-7890. Or visit us online at yourfsg.com. That's all the time we have for today. To speak with JoAnn off the air, call 800-FSG-7890. And for more information about our program, visit yourfsg.com. The RetireTastic Show with JoAnn Regan airs Saturday afternoons at 1 and Sunday mornings at 8:30. To speak with JoAnn off the air, call 800-FSG-7890. That's 800-FSG-7890. Or visit us online at yourfsg.com.
Investment advisory services offered by FSG Financial Services, Inc., a registered investment advisory firm in the states of Arizona, Nevada, and California. Sound Income Strategies, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisory firm, is a sub-advisor of FSG Financial Services, Inc. FSG Financial Services, Inc. and Sound Income Strategies, LLC are not associated entities. FSG is a franchisee of the Retirement Income Store. The Retirement Income Store and Sound Income Strategies, LLC are associated entities.